Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining us today. A warm welcome to each and everyone who joined this .NET free webinar. Myself, Sheila from AllPro Trainings is presenting the webinar to you today. Before we get into the session, I would like to give a small introduction about AllPro Trainings. First, I will be sharing you a video clip about AllPro Trainings. Kindly watch it. Thanks for watching. Now I will be explaining you about our profile. AllPro Trainings Private Limited is an Indian government approved company that offers technology and soft skill training to students and freshers. As well as experienced professionals to level up their career. So we provide training in information technology, electrical, electronic courses, and soft skill courses. Our vision is to provide a professional training to more than 10 million people worldwide. And our mission is to provide high quality training with well experienced trainers. Telling about our timeline, we are started in Jan 2020 and first batch of students enrolled. And in 2021, we successfully expanded college and corporate trainings. In 2022, we formed a partnership with the foreign clients. In 2023, we launched internship training programs. In 2024, reached 30,000 plus students globally. And in 2025, we are recognized as a leading training institute worldwide. So our services include individual training, corporate training, as well as college training. In individual training, we provide a free webinar. It covers overview of the technology. Free e-certificate will be provided to all the participants, which you are attending now. And also we provide a flash course, a workshop. It is 5 to 10 hours of live workshop. It covers basics of the technology. And the full course, it is 35 hours of live practical classes designed to work on live projects and to achieve professional certifications. We have students from India's major cities as well as from USA, Canada, Australia, UK, and other European countries. Why to choose us is you can learn at your convenient timing. practical live hands-on sessions. We will be helping you in resume preparation. Sample resumes will be provided. We will conduct mock interviews. Interview questions will also be provided to you. Lifelong community support will be provided. Job guidance will be provided until you get a job. Course completion certificate will be provided by our institute. Daily job links will be shared in our WhatsApp channel. LinkedIn recommendation will be provided. We also have all certification vouchers, and we have a consultancy. So if there is any recommend from our client side, we will refer our students. So these are the list of courses that we are providing: RPA, cloud computing, AI, front-end developer, ERP tools, then backend developer, database, CRM, testing courses, ETL, programming languages, BA, then DevOps, app development, data science, Power Platform, BPM tools, Dynamics 365, then electrical and electronic courses, as well as soft skill courses. So we are proud to be an Indian government approved private limited company. Our official WhatsApp and Instagram accounts are Meta verified for liability. Telling about our reach in social media, we have 1.2 plus lakhs followers in all social medias. We have 4.8 ratings from 350 plus verified reviews. We have 8K followers in LinkedIn. We have 2K plus subscribers in YouTube. We have 70K plus followers in our Facebook group page and account. And we have 20K plus followers in Instagram. We are also available in WhatsApp, Telegram, Twitter, and Quora. So these are our existing clients. So these are the certifications cleared by our students, UiPath, Blue Prism, AWS, Pega, and Power Automate, Data Analyst. So these are the few certifications cleared by our students. So now I will be showing you about today's agenda. So first, the participant introduction, it will be for 10 minutes. Then the webinar content will be for 45 minutes presented by the trainer. So the trainer will be explaining you exclusively about today's topic. Then next 20 minutes is the query session regarding today's webinar topic. Then the APT student guide explanation will be for 5 minutes. After that, APT offer session for the participants who join the webinar today will be presented, and which is followed by the feedback session for 5 minutes, in which we will share the feedback link. So the participants should attend the webinar fully and fill the feedback form completely to get the certificate. So the certificate will be sent to email ID that you gave in the feedback form within a week. So the feedback form link will be shared at the end of the session. So please attend the webinar fully. So now the participants, you can introduce yourself in the chat box. So please mention your name, your profession, whether you are a student or working professional. Please introduce yourself in the chat box. Okay, please also mention your profession, so whether you're a fresher or experienced. Yeah, hi Saravanan. Hi Shah. Welcome. Others, please. So please mention your name. Hi Sam. Hi Hemant. Welcome. Others, please. Hi, Prabhaga. Welcome. Okay, so today we have a trainer, Mr. Ahmed, so well-experienced trainer, already given training to many of our students. So welcome, sir. You can proceed now.
Thank you, Sudha. Okay, hello everyone. So this is Ahmed. So professionally, by profession, I am a software developer. So I have been working on .NET for quite a long, maybe for a decade, and I have been providing training on .NET for almost, I guess, 5 years now. Apart from that, thanks everyone for joining this webinar today. So in this session, we will be discussing on the basics of .NET, and we'll include the real world topics as well, as also we will go through the latest update by Microsoft. Like, since I guess some of you know that .NET is evolving, and from the .NET framework we have evolved to .NET 9 till now, and in the future also it will keep on going. Okay, so that's for the introduction. I will quickly share my screen, and then we'll go with the topics. Just let me know if you can see my screen, maybe in the chat.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this particular webinar is all about .NET and in specific a .NET full stack developer. Okay. So we will be talking about like what it's take to be a .NET full stack developer. So by full stack, as most of you already know, like it's just from the front end part, from the designing the UI to your logic, your the web APIs, and which in turn talk to your database. So it's like a end-to-end development role. So how the developer work in the industry as a full stack .NET developer. We will going through this concept here. Okay. Yeah. So we have divided few topics here where we will be talking about the modern C# syntax, since we have to, I believe we have to, we have to update ourselves with the latest .NET, because with the advent of AI and all, so each and every organization is evolving on the .NET side. So we'll be talking about a few syntax in this webinar, not all. Then our traditional approach to go through the OOPS concept, the solid principle, how to apply those. Then another would be the async await. So here how we can do the parallel programming kind of thing in .NET, like asynchronous, you can think of those kind of operation we can do using the async await. Then we will talk about generics and collection. So where we define generic classes and collections, like the list, observable collection, dictionary, and all. Then we will have some insight on entity framework, since we need to most of the application need to talk to the database. So, and for a standard .NET application, we typically go with the entity framework. So we'll be talking about that as well. Then we will have a look on some advanced topic as well. Then we will talk about the SQL Server, then the MVC, so the model view controller. Then we will talk about the model validation. So it's nothing but a validation of forms. Then we will talk one of the important concept programming, that's called dependency injection or inversion of dependency. Then we will be talking about our web services that we called web API in modern term. And this also consists of versioning and security like the authentication and authorization. Then we will have some performance optimization outside. Okay, so for this modern C# syntax, so as some of you have, if you are following the .NET latest version, so you would see like they have introduced a lot of things like the boilerplate codes. By boilerplate code, I mean in the earlier days we have to write the program.cs file by our own, but now they have given the template. So whenever you create or create an object, sorry, the project, so they will give you some code where you can just uh, inject or configure your services, your middleware. We will have a look on one in our example. So I will show you on the Visual Studio like what I'm talking about. Then they have added the nullable reference also. So these are just you can explicitly tell the project that we should never allow a null value. So this would handle the null exception error. And then we have the record. So this is just nothing but a new data type that they have introduced during .NET 6. So that's an immutable data. Okay, so we can't mutate the data. So this syntax is something similar to class, but you can pass the data right into your class, not class but record. Yeah. Then we have this pattern matching. So it is nothing but just an alternate thing for switch case here. Okay, let me quickly share what I mean when I say the boiler code. Okay, I hope everyone can see. Okay, we will just have one project console. So you will see like now in .NET Core, we have this boiler code. So this particular program.cs is the entry point. So you can always verify in the property and you can see the entry point uh, of this particular program here. Okay. So this is what I mean when I said the boilerplate code. Okay. Now moving back to the where it is. Can you see my slides? Anyone? Okay. I assume you can see my slides. Okay. So we will go through the OOPS concept and solid principle here in brief. So the OOPS concept are nothing but it's the standard concept for any object-oriented programming language. It could be any language like the Java or Python, anything. But in our case, we are dealing with the .NET C#. So C# would be our language. So basically, OOPS means like we will have the classes, objects, the abstraction, encapsulation, and you will have the data headings kind of concept here. So as you know, like class are nothing just a blueprint. So blueprint, I mean, it will consist the property and methods. Okay, in real time, you can think of like a particular a blueprint of a human. So human will have properties like he can hear, he can speak, he can walk. Those are the property. And instance could be like an Ahmed or Sila or other human being. So those are the instance of that particular class, which will have those properties, or in simple term, behaviors. Okay. Then you have the concept of inheritance, where the classes will inherit the property of the property of one property and the methods of one class, the top level class, into the subsequent derived classes. Then you have this encapsulation. So encapsulation is nothing but data protection in simple term, where the data, by data we mean the properties inside the data or the field inside the data, and the operation which operates on that data, on the property. So operations is nothing but the method. So in simple term, in encapsulation, the property and the method which operate on those property will be kept inside. Okay. So so what will happen is that we will hide the property from external classes using the access specifier. So access specifier are like public, private. So we can make that as a private or internal or protected. So the other class won't be able to fetch that or set that particular property directly. Instead, we will expose a method. Okay. And using that method, that property will be handled. An abstraction is nothing but a concept. So it's as the name suggests, it is nothing but to abstract the detailed. So in simple term, it means like we are abstracting the complexity of a class or a particular method, and we are just exposing the API. So in API, I mean here, uh, it's just exposing a method or a way so that he can just pass some parameter or something, and he doesn't need to care how the other thing has been implemented. Okay. Then we have one core concept of object-oriented programming that we called a solid principle. So solid principle consists of 5 principles. So the first one is the single responsibility principle. So where we hand over each classes a single responsibility. So think of like we have a two class. Okay, one is the user class, which has two properties, username and password, and maybe it will have one method called save user. Then we have another class like the email service. Okay, so if you see, we are segregating the responsibility in different classes here. Instead of, having one fat class where we will have all the user property and also the operations which is required to send an email. So that's what we call single responsibility principle. So a class should also always have a single responsibility. Then we have then we have the then we have this Liskov substitution principle. So where it says the parent class should be able to do the parent class will have some property and behaviors. The behavior is nothing but this operate this method. Then and whichever the derived class which is inheriting from the parent class will have the will which should be able to do all the operation which a parent class should be able to do. So that's what we called the solid principle. Sorry, Liskov substitution principle. So in simple term, the child should be able to replace the parent instance at any given point of time. So, and then we have one open closed principle. So it in simplest term, it means a class should be able to a class should be closed uh, for modification, but it should allow the extension of those class. So how can we do that extension is we can create another class, we can inherit the same class, and we can extend the class functionality without changing the existing class. So we don't have to, rebuild the DLL again while giving a new version or something like that. So in that scenario, it helps. Then we have the I, which is the interface segregation principle. So it means like instead of having one big, chunk of interface methods, rather you can just segregate those methods in different in few different pieces of interface. So suppose we have one interface called iPayment, okay, and it has 10 methods which needs to be implemented in whichever class they are going to implement this interface. So it might happen that few of the methods which is not relevant to the payment is still there in that interface. So what we can do is that we can just pull out those methods and we can create a new interface, and the other class which required those methods should implement those interface. Then we have this dependency inversion principle. So this is the most important principle if you work on a large scale applications. So here it simply means like at the creation of dependency should not depend on anyone. So in simple term, you should never new up the project, new up the class. Rather, all this instantiation should be handled on some sort of container. So there will be some program. So in case of .NET Core, fortunately we have this inbuilt dependency inversion capability where we can register the dependencies along with your interface if you want, and you can directly inject those dependencies right into your constructor or maybe in the method as a method parameter. Okay. Then we have this async await. Okay. So this async await is nothing but a programming technique to keep the UI responsive. So in the early days, what happens is, suppose you have a grid and we have a button called search. So on search, we are loading millions of data, let's say. So what will happen is that it will block the UI thread. What it means is the UI will be blocked and you won't be able to do anything. So to resolve that kind of issue, .NET introduced the concept of async await. So it is similar to threading or the task, but it's just a much easier. It has a much easier syntax where you just mark a method as a async, and then you can await the calling method. So suppose we will take that same example, like we have a grid, and on that button click, we are loading millions of data. Okay, so so we will mark that method as async, and while clicking on the search in turn will call some database or maybe an API. So we will make that method as we'll put await before that method. So what will happen is that when the debugger hit or the compiler came to that point, it will create a separate thread behind the scene, and it manages the states. So it knows like where that we have this new thread, and we have to return the result, and we have to somehow it knows the context of that particular that method. So once it is done, it will return the result to the main thread, and you will see the result on the UI, in our case on the grid. And we have this value task as well. So this value task has it's a special case. So these are only used when you deal purely with numeric variables. So most of the time, while writing the business applications, we end up having custom classes. Which will have a lot of properties and all. So a task is suitable for that. But in case of value task, if you are doing any mathematical operations, a complex mathematical operation, or doing any sort of calculation, so in those uh, scenario, value task uh, is much feasible to use. Okay, then coming to the next point, we have generics and collections. So these generics and collections are one of the building block while writing a program or an application for a project. So what does it mean by generic? So generic you can think of like a placeholder. Okay. So so what will happen is that you can put anything in that generic. So if you see in this current example also, we have this method which accept a generic property A and B. So this property could be anything. What I mean is that it could be int or it could be a string, and it is just comparing that, and it is returning some value. It could be anything. We could add it here. We could subtract. We can do anything. So what I mean is that generic would just it acts like a placeholder. Okay, so you can make anything, any class or any method as generic, and with that that could be used by other classes for their own specific purpose. So the classic example for this is a repository. So in every application we need to have a repository where we have to fetch the data and we have to push the data, which in turn save those data into the database. So in those scenario, this generics comes into handy. Then we have this collection. So collection is nothing but in-memory object you can think of. Okay, so what I mean is that collection could be of it could be of anything like a list or an observable collection or a dictionary. So it's just a data type in .NET, and that kind of data type which holds the data, a list of items in memory. So if the program execution is over or someone close that program or the application, that data would be lost. Okay, it is just in memory. So we have few famous or usable data type that we use always, like the array, the list. Then we have observable collection. Then we have dictionary where we will have the key pair value kind of thing. We also use the hash set quite because it is much faster for data retrieval cases. Then coming to the after so after completing the generics, we'll look into the entity framework core. Okay, so here it's nothing but we can think of like a program which basically talks with the database. Okay, so it has the implementation behind the DB set. So DB context. So it expose one class called DB context, which requires the DB sets and the connection string. And what will happen is it will map our data access objects to the actual physical layer object. So the physical layer is nothing but the actual database tables column itself. Okay, so we can just right away query the data from our C#. You can just if you have a table called user or product or something like that, so you can just write like context dot product or context dot user, and you can write your link query if you want to filter or if you want to do the loops and all. Okay, so this entity framework, uh, so the main purpose of entity framework is just to talk with the database. So it has a lot of we have a lot of technique to connect entity framework with our database. So the two are mostly used. The techniques are, one is the code first approach and another one is the database first approach. So so what happens as you have guessed, like in code first approach, you will write all the data structure, I mean the column definition, right into your code, and you will do the migration right from your code. So this kind of technique is mostly suitable when you are working on a new project. Okay, so you know the data structure from the requirements, and you keep on adding those in your code. Then the other one is the database first approach. Suppose you are working on a legacy application and you want to upgrade that to a new version, maybe .NET 8. Okay. So in those kind of scenario, since you can't, it will be very difficult to write all this DB set, and it will be tedious to test those scenarios as well. So we rely on the database first approach, where we will just scaffold that database objects right into our code, and the DB context would be same. Like, so what it means, like, it will scaffold all the DB sets, and using the DB sets, you can query or you can save anything accordingly into your database. So to connect this dot, so this in memory collections, the list or the maybe the dictionary, those will hold the data which we are entering from the UI, okay, which in turn will be sent to this entity framework logics. Okay, so obviously it will have few layers like the data access layer, where you will have this property which you have to map it back to the map it back to the data access layer, and on that after that, accordingly you will save or update whatever you need. Okay, so few of the advanced feature is like that. It's tracking changes. So at, by default, intuitive framework tracks the changes. So it is pretty helpful while we do the auditing, like who changed the particular column and all. So it is used for auditing to generate the audit reports. Then we have one more important feature, that is concurrency handling. So what do you mean by concurrency handling? Is suppose user A and user B is reading a particular data, okay, in a database. So that is okay. But suppose both are trying to save a data, so database somehow needs to know, like, which one is the latest one. So using this concurrency, we manage the row version. Okay. So that if someone, already did the changes, suppose someone already did the changes, updated a form, and the user B was updating, but he had updated the value on the UI, but it hasn't saved the changes. So in that, but someone from the backend already changed that did the changes for that row. So once the user B will click on save, it will throw an exception, like there is a concurrency issue. So he has to again refresh the page, and then he has to enter the data. And other cool feature are like bulk inserts. So you can always you do the bulk insert, like maybe a whole bunch of data, hundreds of or thousands of data at one go. Earlier we used to rely on the store procedure, where we send the data in XML format or JSON format and parse it in the in the SQL directly. Then once you are done with the entity framework integration in your project, then you have to take care your SQL Server. Okay, so I listed few feature for this SQL Server. So as SQL Server is nothing but a data store. So where we store all the data, or all schema. By schema I mean all the table or procedure, view, temporary table, triggers. So we have lot of things that we can do, and it basically we can do the querying, the select statements, or update the the aggregation statements. We can do the CTs, common table expression. A lot of things we can do here. In modern SQL Server, they have added the JSON support as well. So earlier what's happened is that uh, suppose a scenario where you have one category, product category, maybe toy, and in that category we'll have a lot of product, that toy category. So to return this kind of this kind of nested data, there was no way in SQL. We have to handle in our code, C# code. But with the advent of these feature like the JSON, we could handle those kind of those kind of scenarios as well. Okay, so the ASP.NET. So once you set up all this thing, then the next thing you need to take care is your UI layer. Okay, so in this for this particular uh, curriculum, we have this we have chosen to use ASP.NET Core MVC. Okay, so it's basically a pattern where which allows us to develop a web applications. So it will have the view. So view is nothing but your Razor view. So CS HTML. So by Razor view, I mean we could write C# syntax code right into your HTML page. So that's why the extension would be CS HTML. Then we have the models. So model is nothing but the business model that in turn talk with our data model. So data model which is nothing but our database columns. Obviously, we'll have a different layer to separate out the thing, but yeah, but at the top we will have this view, model, and controller. Then the last one is the controller. So controller is a place where all the interactions are handling. Okay, so suppose on the view we have this text box and a button. You enter the a value, maybe an email or something, and you click on that button. So then we raise a one event. Okay, so we have to pass that email ID, you know, to the data model, so that they can save that data or check that email. So we have to, so how can we do that? We are doing using the controller here. Okay, so the controller will take those inputs from the user, from the view, and it will pass it down to your business logic. The business logic will, which in turn will talk to the data access layer, which is nothing but uh, your database properties. And then it will fetch some data. It will do the operation accordingly, whatever we have asked, and it will give you some response on the UI. And this MVC have different return type like the IAction result or action result. So you could return any view or any data in the MVC. Then you have this syntax for the C# HTML page that we call Razor page. So you can just define the @ syntax, and you can pass your model. And you can also always use the tags. So it is not being used much nowadays, but yeah, it still supports that. Then once you design your UI, you integrate that UI. So the business may ask to have some validations, the model validations. So like the email ID is mandatory, or the first name or the last name is mandatory. So how to do that kind of validation? So if we do this validation into our Razor page and in our JavaScripts, so we will just put those validations on the buttons or on the text boxes, and it will throw that error. The other way we can do is to annotate the data model itself. As you can see, we can just add the required column on the property, and it will annotate. And the most efficient way would be to use the third-party extensions like the Fluent UI, so which has the inbuilt validation. So just inherit those class, and you can just write the rules. So those rules will be in one place. So in future, if you want to change some rule, you have to do the changes in only one place. Okay, so up to this point, we are talking about how the how that we will have the data access, how the data access will interact with the entity framework, which in turn talk with the database, and how this controller will take this events or data from the view and pass it down to the business logic. Now, to to just call these methods, we need some way to to inject those method in simple word to instantiate those methods. So that's where we need dependency injection. So what happens is that we will register those dependency in our program.cs, maybe as add scope transient based on our requirement, and we can directly inject uh, right into our controller or in our logic constructor or in the method parameter as well. We can inject. So it removes the direct dependency between the classes. So you will have one project for interface, and then we have one project for domain business logic. So those interfaces will implement those classes. And if you want to write another test case using any framework, so you could just you just have to call those interfaces, which in turn is registered in the dependency container with that particular class. So it will always call or always invoke that particular method automatically. Okay, so a typical n-layer architecture application would directly communicate with the database. But in modern application, what we have is that we don't have a single application. We have a lot of applications. Okay, so suppose one application is on MVC, another application is on React or Angular, one could be on Windows. So, but the database and the business logic or the services has to be centralized. In other term, they are same. The database is same, and we are invoking the same. We have to deal with the same tables and columns. Okay. So for that, in those scenario, we just we just we create those web APIs. So web API is nothing, but it is very similar to MVC. Instead, it doesn't have any UI. So rather, it will have the controller, and that controller will have the endpoints that we call, and we get the result. We can put, patch, or delete the data in our database. And to add that UI layer, we have this third-party DLLs called Swagger. So it will just show the what endpoints we have implemented, and it will give you some way to post those parameter as well. So when you write the API, so you have to take care of the versioning as well. Suppose the very first time you release version 1 API, okay, and you did the production release, and that is being used already. Suppose due to some other requirement, you have to change or rewrite the complete logic, okay, without breaking the existing code. Because for some client don't want to upgrade to the newer version, but other client is likely to do that. So for those client, we have to expose the new API. So in that scenario, what we need to do is we have to create the versioning for those API. So there is a lot of way uh, uh, we could have this different folder wise versioning. Suppose in one folder we have version 1 controller endpoints, and in another folder we have another controller endpoints. The second path would be to directly inject the API versioning class in the controller, or maybe in the controller only, and just to check the minor major version whatever we are changing, and based on that invoke the particular methods. Other thing that we need to take care, or that we will be learning, is the security. Okay, so for any web application or maybe any Windows or any application, uh, we need some sort of authentication and authorization. So not anyone can just access your resources. So that has to be authenticated and authorized. So by authentication, we means like we do authentication in our day-to-day life, like we pass the email ID and password, and the server, sorry, and the server authenticate that user. It means that particular user exists in our database. Let's say for the Gmail. Okay, so we will be able to access that application or the Gmail. Now, authorization is a more granular level of filtering, where you should be able to only access a particular page you are authorized to. You can't access each and every resource or screen or page. You have to have that specific permission here, you know. So once you acquire that permission, then only you will, it will allow you to access that resource. Otherwise, it will return some error messages, and it will redirect to you to some page that we could have designed. So uh, the most popular way to do this authentication or authorization is to use the JWT token. And for these, also we have quite a lot of tools in the market, like the identity server. Then Microsoft have already developed their own identity, where we could use the Entra to authenticate. And then we have this Duende as well. And there is quite a lot. So it depends on the project or the project owner, what they decide. So the last part we will be learning is the performance optimization. So it depend it's directly related to to the feedback of the user. So while developing, you won't find much performance optimization issue, because you will be working on on a much smaller database on the developer dev data or the UAT. But when you go live and you work on the prod, and you will have thousands and millions of users, then you will understand, like these our API endpoints or whatever code we have written, that's not performing up to the mark. Okay, so for those, we typically have two approach. One is to optimize data at the database level. One, and the most popular on top of that, is the caching. So we would cache the few data, few pages, like the user profile data, or those kind of data we will cache, so that we don't have to call the server or the database each and every time. So it will significantly remove the load on database. And obviously, if you are going with the cloud and all, you can scale out the resources. I mean, you can, increase the memory and CPU power of the server, so which will handle our large, audience. But for a smaller firm, we can implement the caching. Okay. Okay. So I think that's what we will be learning. On top of that, since we have known that Microsoft has released this agent on the GitHub Copilot agent. So we will be focusing on that as well, because I believe it is now necessary to uh, to you know uh, to use those agents, just to be in uh, just to be in touch with the AI as well. So I will be focusing on that as well while doing the development, or uh, while doing our exercises. So yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, so if you have any queries, you can ask in the chat box, please. You can put in chat if you have any queries to ask with the trainer. No queries? job scope in this? Ahmed, can you please explain?
One minute. Job scope. Okay, so in this we have this full stack. So you could work as a full stack developer, okay, and you can work as a backend as well. Since we are working, we'll be dealing with the backend job as, I mean, backend logic. I mean the web API. So typical organization will have, you know, front end developer and backend developer in larger organization, but in a smaller one, you need to know each and everything. So if you opt for the, if you're going for an interview in a bigger organization, you can either, you know, apply as a backend developer or as a front end developer. So basically it means like, you know, the designing part, the HTML, CSS or bootstrap, whatever we will be doing later in this course, or you can, you know, just, you know, do the backend work. I mean, design, developing the back, API endpoints and dealing with the database queries, right? Like writing the procedure and all.
Any other queries? Okay, Ahmed. Thanks for the session and thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So now I will be sharing you the feedback review video of one of our student. So kindly watch it.
Hi, welcome to AllPro Trainings, Business Analyst Course Review by an MBA graduate from Kumbakonam, Tamil Nadu.
Thank you so much, AllPro Training and Sumit sir, for guiding me throughout this whole 45 days, because I was just a fresher who finished an MBA just a week before. So everything that he actually taught us was very new, and he started from scratch so that I could understand each and every point of view from the company and how clients will work with them, how a business analyst are going to work with the clients and the development team too. And he was very sweet and very patient with us throughout the 45 days, because each and every day we'll have a last 10 minutes doubt session, or when he teaches it, he will confirm that we actually understand it, and he will also teach us more than what we actually needed. So thank you, Sumit sir, for your kind knowledge sharing session throughout these days. And I also thank AllPro Training for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, now I will be explaining you about the APT student guide. This explains how we provide training to our students and how it helps them to secure a job worldwide. So first one is the simple learning methodology. So once you join the classes, you'll be having a 1 hour class divided into 4 sessions. The session 1 is a quick revision and doubt clearance from the previous class, and session 2 is for 25 minutes. The trainer teaches particular day topic for 15 minutes. Then the students practice hands-on with today's topic for 10 minutes. Then the session 3 is for 25 minutes. The trainer teaches the next topic for the particular day for 15 minutes. And the students practice hands-on with the next topic for that day for 10 minutes. And the session 4 is for 5 minutes recap of class with the trainer. So this shows the learning pyramid. The reading alone provides 10% understanding. Images and videos provides 20% understanding. The group discussion provides 50% understanding. Hands-on practice provides 75% learning. So teaching concepts to others boosts 90% understanding. Our students are trained to the level where they can work in any live projects. So what is your goal now? So everyone have a different goals, getting a new job, switching jobs, learning new technology, or looking for internal transfer within the company. Why didn't we meet our goal yet? So this is because of our habit. So until now, due to our habits, we have not been able to reach our goal. The habit loop creates systematic learning path for career success. So the habit loop have three concepts. First one is the cue, redirecting students from unproductive activities to focused learning. Then the routine. So daily you'll be having a 1 hour class, attending daily live classes in a disciplined manner. So you will get the reward of gaining knowledge and reaching your goals. So plenty of online videos are available nowadays. So, but what is the difference between referring online? What is the advantage of attending live classes? So in online, if we refer online videos, it will be having unstructured content, but in live classes, well-structured and organized learning. There is no way to ask questions when you refer online videos, but in live classes, you can ask the trainer questions immediately during the live class. So the trainer is unaware of individual students when you refer online videos, but in live class, trainer knows each student personally. There is no personal experience sharing when you refer online videos, but in live class, the trainer shares real-time project experience with the students. There is no follow-up of homework when you refer online videos, but in live class, trainer follows up daily and ensures homework is completed before moving to the next topic. Another disadvantage of referring online videos is it is available online for a long time. But due to habits and distractions, we haven't learned effectively. But in live class, help restructure habits, making it easier to learn. So AllPro training learning format is a combination of e-learning, e-coaching, collab learning, and virtual classroom. So advantages over other institutes is each batch consists of a maximum of 5 students. This allows the trainer to focus on each student in a collaborative and interactive manner. Live recordings are available for students to download and save permanently for lifelong access. Next is the fingertip materials. All your live classes will be recorded and it can be downloaded by the students. Class notes will be provided in PDF and PPT format. Required software and licenses will also be provided. All the materials will be provided in a shared drive link. So this is the minimum market salary. If you are have some 2 years or 3 years experience, you should get like 5 to 7 lakhs of salary per annum. So if you have 6 to 7 years of experience, you should get 15 to 18 lakhs per annum salary. So if you are not up to this level, you should upscale yourself. Please wait, I will be sharing you the feedback form link in some time. So now we are going to see about the APT students offer. So as I mentioned, we offer full course as well as the flash course. The full course is for 30 to 35 hours and the flash course is for 5 to 10 hours. So all your live classes will be on GeoMeet. And so now we are announcing the C#.NET course. We are about to start the coming week. So the market price for C#.NET is 30K to 35K for the full course and the flash course is 12K to 15K. So we are not charging that much for our students. So our AllPro trainings price will be 20,000 for the full course and 6K for the flash course. And there is an exclusive offer for the students who have joined the session today. So for those who have joined the session today, we are providing C#.NET full course at 12K, full course 35 hours course for 12K, and the flash course for 10 hours, it is for 999. So 999 rupees. So please make use of this offer. The C#.NET full course charges is just 12K and the flash course, it is for 10 hours live workshop It is just 999. Please make use of it. This is just for a 15 minutes offer. So these are the special bonuses you are getting. Free interview sessions will be helping you in resume preparation. Professional certification guidance will also be provided. Lifelong community support will be provided. LinkedIn recommendation will be provided. And job guidance will also be provided. So advantages of attending live classes is you can clear all your queries at any time with the trainer. You can have the training at your preferred timing. All live classes will be recorded and you will be getting the recordings. All class notes and documents will also be provided. So one small step can change your life. So those who are interested to register for the full course and workshop, you can make the token payment in the shared account details. So this offer is only for 15 minutes. Please make use of it. The full course is for 12K and the C#.NET Flash course is for 999. So interested to join, please make payment to the mentioned number. So now I will be sharing you the feedback form link. One second. Just a minute, we'll be sharing the feedback form link in the chat. Those who fill the feedback form will receive their e-certificate within a week in the mail ID that you mention in the feedback form. I'm sharing it now in the chat. So if you have any queries, you can contact me in WhatsApp. I'm sharing you my WhatsApp number also. If you're interested to enroll in the full course or flash course, you can just contact me in WhatsApp. I have shared my WhatsApp number in the chat. Also, I'm sharing the feedback form link in the chat. Please let me know once you receive the feedback form. Can you please confirm in chat whether you can able to see the form link? Anyone please confirm whether you can see. Okay, thank you, Divya. So those who are interested to join the flash course or a full course, you can contact me. You can pay the token payment also. So the flash course, we'll be conducting it on weekends only. It's a 10 hours live session. So it covers basics of the technology. Hope everyone received the feedback form. So those who are interested to join the full course, C#.NET full course or the flash course, please contact us. Or you can pay the token payment to the number shown in the screen and send the screenshot to us. I hope everyone have filled the feedback form. So thank you all for joining us today. We hope you find the session informative and inspiring. So if you have any further questions or feedback, feel free to reach out to us. Don't forget to stay connected for updates on our upcoming training sessions. Have a wonderful evening ahead, and we look forward to seeing you in our further sessions. Thank you so much, everyone. We can wind up the session.